So as I was continuing off my discussion, this cult of MAGA, it's it's gone way too far, and I think hopefully I'm hoping these midterm elections put a check on this because he's technically presidency is almost over. He's technically a lame duck president. God willing, if we survive it, because this year has been a disaster. This last year, um, our country's sinking like quicksand. It's literally on autopilot decline. And it doesn't take being a Democrat to see that, obviously. I know everybody wants to put everything in a partisan box and support their dear leader, but this is reality, okay? This guy's declining our country with his own actions. As this man enriches himself, destroys our country. And besides, how can you still continue supporting this man knowing he's in the Epstein files? He's all over those suckers. He's a child predator. He was involved in child trafficking, for crying out loud. He was running fraudulent charities, fraudulent beauty pageants, modeling agency. What? To traffic his beautiful models to Epstein, a predator? I mean, sexually testing them for his friends to pass off to his friends. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that was coming out of the files. This was Donald Trump. He's the sitting president of the United States. He was accused, he was literally accused and proven of being an adjudicated rapist, okay, to a grown woman, or many grown women at that. But now it's trickling down to young girls, okay? All these people are in this pedo circle. This Epstein class is what we call it, you know. And I just want to remind people, you guys talked all this talk about wanting these files released. Now that they're getting released under Donald Trump, and they're implicating Donald Trump, suddenly nobody wants to hear about it. Oh, and it's all we want to talk about. Yeah, because it's important. And a lot of us have woken up to this Epstein class. A lot of us woken up to this pedo ring that was going on, that was involved with involved with the Mossad government. Yeah, it's inevitably true that Epstein and Maxwell had connections to CIA operations. Okay? So the conspiracies, it turns out, were real, and congratulations, you guys were right. All you people that were pushing the conspiracy theories, you were correct. You were freaking correct. The problem is, though, you are missing the factual points in those conspiracies and the people that were truly implicated. See, the problem is it was turned into a partisan fight because a lot of people that were pushing this conspiracy about pedo rings were only implicating liberals and elites from Hollywood, when that couldn't be further from the truth. There were some liberals in Hollywood that were involved. There's no denying that. But just because I identify as a liberal progressive don't mean I defend everybody in Hollywood. I don't defend everybody in Democratic Party leadership. I don't defend anybody based on just a political affiliation alone. Okay? So it was all painted in the sphere of politics. It was about partisan gain. But that partisan gain's come back and bit you guys, because the reality is it's implicated a lot of people you guys like on the right, especially Donald Trump. And all those people, half those people in his cabinet were involved too. Okay? They were all involved in those Epstein files. All the way from Trump, small part Elon Musk and Howard Lutnick and all these other people that are in his cabinet, and possibly even Pam Bondi, who was a grown child out of that ring. Okay? Now I don't know how true it is about the Pam Bondi thing. That could be possibly fake. I don't know. That could be AI making that up. But the thing is, I'm not saying yay or nay either way on that one because I can't prove that. But in some way they have ties to it, and if not, they don't have ties to it. They know about it and they're covering up. All right. And my words to Pam Bondi is, shame on you. You were an attorney general of a major state of Florida, where that has been a big issue for a long time. Trafficking crimes have been really bad in Florida. And she was attorney general of Florida for 2 terms. She was the one that ran the tough on crime ads all over the state of Florida. This is, I'm going to go after the criminal pedophiles, and I'm going to make communities safer, and I'm going to do, which we'd want any attorney general to do that, by the way. Okay, I don't care what your politics are. All right. Which, by the way, Kamala Harris did some of that in California. And people thought she was too tough on crime, or she was too waffly on issues, or they accused her of being too liberal. And if she wasn't liberal enough, she was too hard on crime. She was too tough on crime. She was too right-wing. She was too everything. But here's what I got to say. The same can go for Pam Bondi in Florida. Because human trafficking is really bad in Florida. Okay? And she covered for Epstein. She helped get Epstein off several crimes when she was Attorney General of Florida. So, was she really tough on crime? No. If I was going to argue between the 2 Attorney Generals, I'd say Kamala Harris was tougher on crime than Pam Bondi. You know? So, if we're going to talk about Attorney Generals, which I want Attorney Generals to go after human traffickers. I want Attorney Generals to be tough on crime. My Attorney General, Catherine Cortez Masto, was awesome before she became a senator. She did what she said she was going to do because that was her job as Attorney General. Aaron Ford did a great job as Attorney General, went after these kind of crimes. There's more I can say about Pam Bondi in Florida. Okay. So now she's sitting here defending the every whim of Donald Trump, looking like a fool. And she won't answer for anything in Congress because she feels like she's above the law. And she don't have to say nothing to Congress. She don't have to answer to Congress or anything. And Donald Trump's the most transparent president in the U.S. He is not bull crap. He's lied about everything. And you are sitting there making a fool out of yourself, lying on his behalf. And I got news for you, Pam Bondi. Donald Trump is never going to be loyal to you. He will throw you under the bus so fast. He don't give 2 wits about you, Pam Bondi. And half the cabinet don't even like her. The Republicans in Congress don't even like her. Matter of fact, the Republicans in Congress don't even like any of the people they're working under right now, as far as the executive branch goes. That's why they're resigning. It's not just about electoral politics. Every senator going, oh, they know they're going to lose, that's why they're resigning. That's part of it. The other part of it is they can't govern as elected officials. And he has taken authoritarian power to do whatever the heck he wants. And he's treating them like third-class citizens, and they're mad about it. They feel like they don't have a say of anything that goes on in the government. They're just sitting ducks. Okay. They're angry about that. If they feel like they can't do their jobs as representatives, they're going to resign out of anger. That is what's happening. They're resigning out of anger. It's not just electoral politics. They don't even like working with these people. That's how bad it's gotten for the GOP right now. The people that are working in his cabinet are unqualified and have complete disregard for the law. And you see it every day. Every freaking day. And it's unfortunate. Because our country deserves so much better. You know. It's unfortunate. And again, we too will get through this. This shall pass. But just know what these people are defending. They're defending a pedophilia ring. So all you people that try to make this political, remember, it's the GOP leadership. in the executive branch that's implicated into it, along with that whole class of cabinet members who are defending this behavior. They defended what is going on. They're trying to cover it up, and they were involved. Okay. So, cry me a river about Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and all these other people you found here and there in the files. I got news for you. Yeah, they probably were, and I wouldn't doubt it. Nor do I care. I want justice for everybody. But let me tell you something. The same goes for all those people working in Trump's cabinet and orbit, along with Donald Trump himself. They're more implicated than any of those three people you put on your finger every day and throw out to the public as an example. Why do you think Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton wanted to go to the Congress and go to Congress and testify? Because they're not running for nothing anymore. They don't care. And they probably know none of these people will be truly legally held liable. Okay? They're no longer the leaders of the Democratic Party, so they don't even care how the Democratic colleagues view them at this point. All right. The culture's shifted. And honest to God, I feel like members of the Republican Party should feel the same way about Trump. I think they should not care anymore and be like, you know what? Yeah, we backed this guy. We had a good run. He's obviously not a good person. He's involved in committing horrific crimes against children. I don't want nothing to do with him anymore. I did my job as a representative. I'm done here. That would be principled people. Okay. But Bill and Hillary Clinton have nothing to lose anymore. They don't care. And they know the only person they're going to hurt is Donald Trump. Why do you think Donald Trump came out and said, oh, I don't like them attacking Bill Clinton. I like Bill Clinton. He's a good guy. We know why. Because Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's got dirt on Donald Trump. More dirt than he has on them. All right. That dirt goes both ways. The difference is they know they're not going to get prosecuted. And they're not sitting in the White House anymore. So nobody cares about Hillary and Bill Clinton anymore. But they do care about Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is sitting in the White House right now. So he cares very much about how the public views him. And if any more dirt continues to come out about Trump, you see the backlash right now. It's only growing. He knows this. And he does care. Because he wants approval by everybody. He's sitting in that White House. He wants positive attention. Okay? He don't like the idea of the public souring on him. He knows the public's souring on him. Why do you think he's acting erratic and crazy? And it's only going to get worse because he knows the American people are turning on him. Because his standing as president and political leader, it's donezo. It's gone. Nobody cares about Donald Trump anymore. They're done with him. The people seeing all they're going to get out of this guy. They're done with him. They see what a charlatan, con, fraud he is and how little he cares about regular people. They see that he's involved in everything they hate about society. Yeah. He's always been an elite. I don't know why people thought he wasn't. I can go way back. Even when I just briefly paid attention to politics 10, 15, 20 years ago. I knew what a charlatan Donald Trump was. That's why I was so shocked the American public bought his con so many times. I'm like, I mean, I get it. He was a celebrity. He was on TV. I get all that. I mean, yes, he was in Home Alone. He was on all these shows. He did the Celebrity Apprentice. I understand he had this appeal. But I also knew about his history, and I knew the things he did. I didn't even want to go to. I used to check out business conferences around the city of Las Vegas, all over Las Vegas. And I felt unnerved whenever his name was on anything, because I thought, okay, how can I trust that? Is he a scam artist? You know, and then he did the whole birtherism about Obama. That kind of unnerved me. That didn't set well with me as a voter. I didn't like the fact that he delegitimized Obama's citizenship because of his race. I thought that was disrespectful. That alone made me not want to buy any of his products or go to any of his seminars. Okay. Precisely why I didn't want to back Clinton in 2008 when she ran for president. When she did that old birtherism against Obama. I thought it was gross and disgusting and racist and disrespectful. And Yes, even as a white liberal, I get offended by people's overt racism because to delegitimize any human being based on their race is disgusting and is not tolerable. Okay? I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what your intentions are. But that alone gave me a red flag when they did the whole birtherism thing. That was gross. That's something millions of black people put up with for over 400 years. Okay? And it shouldn't be tolerated. So that alone turned me off with Donald Trump. You want this whole birtherism garbage 15 years ago, and people totally thought that was acceptable. And obviously he's jealous of Obama. He makes that clear every day. Especially he's making his nasty racial comments about him and his wife. He's jealous of them. Okay. Trump is not as powerful as he makes himself look. He wants approval. He has a weak, fragile ego. He doesn't like himself. He's an insecure human being who spent his whole life trying to prove he's something to his daddy his whole life, and he's still doing it now to his very end. But the problem is now he's putting our country under his foot. All right. It's sad and unfortunate how he gained so much power, influence, and money. And you see the kind of people that have the money and influence. Isn't it crazy? You would think the most competent human beings would have money and be running our country. You imagine like watching those superhero movies or those sci-fi movies back in the day where they had this evil genius who took power and was super smart. These people were super smart and competent, but they were evil. Yeah, you look at the people right now sitting in the cabinet along with the current president. They're not competent at all. Yet they manage to amass so much money and power. They know nothing about government. They know nothing about being strategic, nor do they care. They're incompetent SOBs, yet they're sitting in the White House. I mean, a lot of them were going to orgy parties and going to, where the Epstein class and doing drugs and all kinds of shenanigans. And these are the people running our country right now. Like, remember the stories and conspiracies of lizard people? It's happening right now. This is literally a sci-fi movie. It's crazy. Of incompetent SOBs. Who are trying to lie to our face every day and tell us we're not seeing what we're seeing. Trying to pretend like they had nothing to do with Epstein. A lot of their names were in those files. People you see every day on TV. Okay. Some of them brought their wives and kids. Think of how disgusting that is. I'm going to bring my wife and my kids to this party. To a pedophile's party who's trafficking young girls. Wow. These are the people running our government right now. And I need people to take their mind off partisan politics for 5 seconds and see the bigger problem here. You should not normalize or think this behavior is okay because you identify with a certain political point of view. Because I got news for you. If I knew the truth about that, and the person I voted for was involved with that, you don't think I would renounce my support for them? You don't think I would be saying this person needs to resign? There needs to be justice? Absolutely, I'd be calling for them to be out of office. I'd be calling for accountability. Because this is wrong. These people committed horrific crimes and they're sitting in our government right now. And they're enriching themselves with our money, our taxpayer money, and destroying our government as they're covering up for criminals who are themselves criminals. This is what our country's sitting in the middle of right now. And I need people to wake up and realize that. This is not okay or normal. All right? And we need to stop treating it as such. It's gross. It's corrupt. It's unethical. And I hope more people continue to speak up because this is not okay. Okay. We literally have the worst criminal in history on record, along with his whole cabinet, sitting in the White House right now. In our house. Our house. I want to remind people that's our house. That White House belongs to us, the people. It's our taxpayer money. Okay? So don't let these people come back and tell you it's not government's job to deliver for you. It absolutely is government's job to deliver for you because you pay for it. And you should expect better out of your government because you pay for it. Okay? So we do have a say about how our government's ran. We just choose not to have a say. We choose to put our head in the blinders and just ignore what's going on and do what we're told. And then when we want to feel like we're empowered, we become part of a group or a cult to convince ourselves we're doing something just for this country. But do it on principle. Don't do it because you want to be part of a cult. Don't do it on behalf of a political leader. Politicians will fail you every time. They're human. They're individuals. They're trying to make it like everybody else. And they have to be in a higher bracket and tier system than the rest of us are. And they're making their money. And they're going to sell out and cash in as quick as they can. Just like some of these influencers you see on TV. You're seeing it right now with Joe Rogan. He's cashing in and selling out. That's why Joe Rogan's losing viewers. Because Joe Rogan, the podcaster, one of the most famous podcasters out there, very famous podcaster, which everybody knows who he is at this point. He started selling out when he's inviting the Epstein class on his shows every day, sucking up to them, giving Donald Trump a big hug, endorsing him, and pulling away, but not completely pulling away from this behavior. He won't renounce his support, but he's just condemning what he's doing. Okay, as he's inviting the Epstein class on his show. All right. And then selling Bitcoin and gambling gigs. They're paying him. He's selling out and cashing in like the rest of these people are. And people need to wake up to that. Okay. Cool. I get it. Everybody likes their podcasters. They like to listen to things that are relatable. Some of these people are relatable, regular dudes. I understand. Or regular women. I get it. But we got to objectively understand the difference of whether they're doing it with good intention, just doing lighthearted comedy, lighthearted humor, doing actual investigative reporting about things going on in the system, which again, there are things outside of just politics happening in our country. I get it. And there are people that talk about what needs to change about institutions, about things that have been covered up from us, and all this stuff, and hype, quote-unquote, conspiracy theories / half-truths. I get it. People like to listen to other stuff. It's some segment of our system, though. But what you want is hopefully you're hoping that person is delivering value to you and facts of information you should know. Whether it's about bettering your health, bettering your finances, informing you about the country and its domestic politics and its foreign policy and what to look for in our system. Or how to buy a home. Yeah, you want to listen to all that constructive stuff. And all these influencers have a place for that. And that's good. You want to listen to people that are going to teach you to be better in life. Okay, I like the self-help stuff too. I'm not demonizing it, you know. But when it comes to the politics of some of this stuff, I don't know where some of these people's brains are. I just have to say, are you liking this? Because I can't understand how anybody would like what's going on right now. It's not helping our country. You know, but again, that's why I said this cult needs to die. It's got to die so we can get the blinders off. Wake people up. People, we need to demand better out of our government. All right. Whether you're a Democrat, hardcore progressive, Republican, conservative, independent, green, libertarian, we need to demand better at our government. We need to demand better. Okay. And I give credit to Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie for doing what's right outside of politics. Because those two couldn't be further apart in their views of government. Okay. But even I had to give Thomas Massie a lot of credit for what he did, along with Ro Khanna. Because if it wasn't for him, along with Ro Khanna, we wouldn't have got the truth about the Epstein files at all. They pushed it. They got together and pushed it. Now that's what I see and say is good bipartisanship right there. That was a good act on bipartisanship. That was not a uniparty act. That was an act on behalf of the American public. That was something that was delivering justice for everybody. And I give those two credit for putting aside their politics and working together on behalf of the American people. And damn, we need more of that. We need more of that in our government. I would just like to see these people for a change vote for something that's going to make our lives better, minus just the partisan politics. Which wouldn't it be nice to see? We get it once in a while, but not very often. You know, like, I don't know, voting to release files we should know about. Or, I don't know, voting to cap prescription drug prices, or voting to make our healthcare system better. Even if it's just a small bill. We're not asking for mountains on every issue. I'm not asking you to revolution everything overnight. But it would be nice to see more people in Congress, even on the opposite sides of the aisle, to get together and vote to make life better for people, instead of just selling us out. And what I admire about the Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna coalition is they did that. They freaking did that. And I congratulate them for doing that, because that's what Congress should be doing more of. You know? And again, I don't agree with Massie on a lot of things. I'm more of a Ro Khanna guy, obviously. But I'm going to say Massie's been a true warrior fighting for justice. I give him credit, man. He's been calling these people out because he's actually doing what's right. He has principles. And we need more of that in our government, regardless of what your politics are. I mean, give people credit where it's due. This guy's doing something right. You know, but that's somebody with moral clarity. That's what I'm telling you. Some of these people that break from party norms, it's because they actually care. They're human. Okay? They see the problem for what it is. And we need more of that in our government. And we need to demand better out of our government as citizens. And that's all I want to say in this video. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Have a great day. Bye. Love y'all.